Netanyahu called on Iranians to flood the streets and overthrow the Islamic Republic. Instead, something else happened. Iranians did flood to the streets. They did do that. But to mourn the martyrdom of Ayatollah Khamenei and express their willingness to defend the sovereignty of Iran and to tell the Iranian government that they will not back down. They will not accept anyone backing down. That is not going to happen. Donald Trump could never understand the martyred Ayatollah Khamenei. He doesn't understand a man that, values his backbone, his country, his people, his honor, his dignity, his faith, his soul, his spirituality more than the US dollar. So when people say that the US and Israel are fighting a war against God, and for that reason they will never be successful, it's because that's quite literally what's happening. You have Wall Street Epstein demons, which are murdering little girls. They also blew up a sports arena and killed 40 women who were practicing volleyball in Iran. So, I mean, they're just sacrificing people to Baal. And as they're doing this, they can't understand why the Iranians won't back down, why they won't cave. They don't understand this. And it's because of simple facts like this. This right here, as you all know, is the prized possession of Donald Trump. This is his Mar-a-Lago mega mansion in Florida. The Mar-a-Lago mega mansion in Florida. This is the taste. This is the lifestyle. This is what he values. He values this mansion more than he values his children. Definitely more than he values the lives of any American troops that are getting blown up in the region right now. And I want to compare this because you will understand the difference in these two men if you don't already understand it. This is where Donald Trump lives. This is where Donald Trump is saying it's okay if U.S. troops are going to die because that's what happens. He's belittling the deaths of U.S. troops, not even mentioning the fact that the USS Abraham Lincoln bombed an elementary school in Iran. This is where Ayatollah Khamenei was martyred. This is Ayatollah Khamenei's home. This is where he worked. This is where he gathered with his family, with his advisors, with his friends. Ali Larijani was asked the question today, why is it that Khamenei was in his home? Why is it that he was in his home? The simple reason being, of course, because Khamenei said, well, I don't want to disrupt my daily life. I like my life. I don't want to be in some bunker. I don't want to be hiding like Netanyahu does, where Netanyahu gets on a plane and goes to Greece or something. I don't want to hide, right? I want to live my life. He knew he was a living martyr, and he was willing to die for the cause his entire life. He was willing, ready, and happy to die as a martyr and to go to paradise, okay? This is where Ayatollah Khamenei lived. This is his living room. One more time. Donald Trump's living room, Ayatollah Khamenei's living room. Could you imagine if you told Donald Trump to live here? What he would tell you if you told him he had to live here for the rest of his life? How would Donald Trump respond? How do you think? During the strikes, hard to even wrap your head around this. During the strikes, the family of Ayatollah Khamenei was also martyred, including his 14-month-old granddaughter. Criminals. They criminals. I mean, I'm stating the obvious. They murder an 86-year-old man, the defender of the children of Gaza, the defender of the children of Lebanon, the defender of the children of Syria, the defender of the children of Iran, the defender of the children of Yemen and Iraq, the defender of Shias, the defender of the free people of the world, and they assassinate him. And they thought it was going to bring about regime change, but instead, it just inspired religious zeal, unity, strength, unity around the flag, increased faith in the Islamic Revolution. I don't really know what they expected was going to happen, but murdering an 89-year-old man, murdering his 14-year-old granddaughter, Yeah, that's not going to win the hearts and minds of the Iranian public. Murdering 40 women playing volleyball, 160 young girls at a school. Yeah, the number's up to 160 now, 160 plus. That is not going to win the hearts and minds of Iranians. They're not going to believe that you're actually there to help them and provide something better to them. Obviously not. Now, Israel has declared a special state of emergency for another 12 days following the intensity of the Iranian bombing. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because, as I mentioned, Khamenei was not in some bunker. Of course, he had a bunker, but he wasn't in it. He said, I don't want to go to it. He was not in some bunker. The Israelis already pre-planning, pre-scheduling their bunker schedule. They're in the bunker each and every day. Today, there was an Israeli citizen who actually died because he was running to the bunker and he fell. I'm not even kidding. One of the Israeli hospitals came out and said as much. Compare that to, please compare that to, the Israelis say, we're so strong, we don't care about we're strong, we're Israelis, we're staying on our business, we're in our land, we're not leaving. Yeah, but you're actually all in bunkers deep underground, okay? How strong are you? Because you're bombing the shit out of Tehran right now. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Tehran got absolutely rocked today. All across Tehran, there were massive strikes. This morning already, Israel had dropped 2,400 bombs on Iran. America had dropped 1,000. That number increased dramatically throughout the day. Okay? And despite that, despite the overwhelming force, they're trying to Gazify Iran. Despite that, what do the Iranian people do? Do they go hide in bunkers? No. Iranians are flooding the streets in Karaj to support the Islamic Republic. I could sit here for the next 3 hours and show you, every single city in Iran. We're not going to do that. Despite massive ongoing bombardment across Tehran, hundreds of thousands of Iranians are on the streets to support the Islamic Republic. Wow, just wow. This is inside of the heart of Tehran today. Netanyahu called on Iranians to flood the streets and overthrow the Islamic Republic. Instead, something else happened. Iranians did flood to the streets. They did do that. But to mourn the martyrdom of Ayatollah Khamenei and express their willingness to defend the sovereignty of Iran. And to tell the Iranian government that they will not back down. They will not accept anyone backing down. That is not going to happen. Massive crowds of Iranians mourning the martyrdom of Ayatollah Khamenei all across the country. All across the country. In Iran's Mazandaran, streets are being flooded across Tehran, calling for revenge. Isfahan as well, flooded with millions of people. Massive waves of people taken to the streets in southern Iran as well. And in Karachi, is that how you say Karachi or is it Karachi? Karachi, I think. The U.S. consulate in Karachi is under attack, okay? This was a major development, okay? Obviously, several U.S. embassies were under attack today. Karachi, thousands of women take to the streets to protest the American-Israeli attacks on Iran. At least 32 Pakistani civilians were shot, some as young as 15 and 9 years old, shot to death during the storming of the U.S. consulate in Karachi today. You can see more photos here. They are avenging the martyrdom of Ayatollah Khamenei, primarily young men storming the U.S. embassy in Karachi. Also in Indian-occupied territory, we have Shia mourning the martyrdom of Ayatollah Khamenei by the tens of thousands at the very least, probably hundreds of thousands. People in Indian-controlled Kashmir rose up and broke through police barricades while carrying portraits of Khamenei. Iraqis also took to the streets in the millions following the martyrdom of Ayatollah Khamenei. I've seen some photos from above. The photos are insane. Hundreds of Iraqis are continuing to attempt to storm the perimeter of the U.S. Embassy. Very dangerous scene. We covered that a little bit in our previous story in Baghdad. To protest against the assassination of Imam Sayyid Ali Khamenei, clashing with security forces as the standoff intensifies. Clashes are intensifying near the embassy in Baghdad. Okay, and here's what it looks like on the scene right now. Baghdad. Trump, what did you expect was going to happen? What did you expect was going to happen? You've opened the Pandora's box. Now, in this drug-induced coma, I'm sure he's in because he's not cognizant anymore. His brain doesn't work anymore. He's eating McDonald's 24/7. That can't be good for you either. He's trying to rapidly shut this Pandora's box. Ain't gonna shut, bro. Ain't gonna shut. He went to Italy, said, Italy, can you get us in contact with the Iranians? The Iranians said, we don't want to talk. We don't want a ceasefire. Just know, all of you stood on the right side of history. That's all we can do. And we have to expose the truth. We have to continue exposing the truth. Maybe one day someone will listen. Before you leave, I want to say thank you for the support, because after 2 years of being banned, we are finally back home on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and also join as a member on our channel using the link at the top of the description. I rely on the generous support of viewers like yourself to get the truth out to as many people as possible. You can also support the show on Locals or Give Sin Go. The mainstream media and the powers that be are never going to stop attacking us for bringing the truth to as many people as we do. Thank you so much for your support.